Good morning, YouTube people. This video has been a long time in the making. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through my entire flashlight collection. So I suggest you pause this video at this minute, maybe go get yourself a beverage and some popcorn, because this is going to run for quite some time. I've laid out all these flashlights I own here on the table. I really want to do this video justice because I own quite a lot of flashlights. They are in the order of purchase, so you see an absolute timeline here of the first flashlight I bought in 1994. Well, given. I actually didn't buy that flashlight, I was given that flashlight, to the very last flashlight I bought, which was the Acebeam X45. So we'll go through them individually, but we'll just run through them for now. So we've got the Maglite Solitaire, we've got a Maglite 4D cell, we've got a Maglite 2D cell, we've got the Maglite rechargeable, the exact same ones that they used to use on old episodes of Cops. Then we have a little battery carrier of an XML T6 that I no longer own. I sold that long ago. And we've got the Nitecore EC11. We have got the D.Q.G Fairy, the Dqg Hobby, and the Dqg Spy. We have got what's left of the Olight X7 Marauder. I've got 4 Olight 18650 batteries, so I actually sold that light. Then we've got the Convoy L6, which happens to be my son's. I bought that for him Christmas 2016 or 17. He absolutely loves it, uses it virtually every day. We have got the Olight S1R baton. We've got the Imalent DT70. We have got another Maglite rechargeable that the cops used to use. We have got, that looks to be the Dqg Hobby Plus down there. We've got the Imalent DN70, which is a first generation flashlight, as you can see with that blue tail there. Then over on this side we've got the very rare long vaulted Imalent DN12. We've got the magnificent Thrunite TN42. We've got another very rare long vaulted Imalent DN11 right next to it. It looks exactly the same, but it was marketed under a different name called the Astrolux Mh10. Exactly the same light as the Imalent DN12. I'm pretty sure they were making those lights for Astrolux, but just marketed as under a different name as the Mh10. Then we have a magnificent light, that's the Imalent DX80. Then we have the Dqg, I think it's called AA Slim in stainless steel. Then we have the Dqg 10220. Then we have the Dqg Tiny in titanium. That's a AA flashlight as well. And then we have the little pocket rockets, the little soda can flashlights. We have the Acebeam X80 GT, the Acebeam X80, the Acebeam E10, the fantastic limited edition army green Thrunite Catapult V6. We have got the JetBeam Mini 1. We have got, what is that? The Nano, GT Nano. Who makes that? Lumintop, I think it is. Yeah, Lumintop GT Nano. I don't often use that light. And my final purchase, which I bought about 2 months ago, was the Acebeam X45. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll go through these individually. I have a folder here of all my flashlights, and it gives me specs and rundowns of everything. So we'll pull this one out So that's what it looks like there on the monitor. Now in 1994 I was working for an underwater diving firm making spear guns and regulators, hand spears and everything, and we used to have these hawkers come in, salesmen, every lunchtime trying to sell us stuff, and this guy came in with a whole bunch of Maglites, and I don't remember buying it. It must have been my mother or someone that bought it and actually gave it to me as a gift. So that's it right there. I still haven't taken out of the box. It sits as exactly it came in 1994 with the original battery, the original rose gold little solitaire flashlight, and the little lanyard. So someone gave me that, so I wasn't into flashlights in 1994, but I still have that all these years later in the original box that I just display in a cabinet. So that's where it started, I gather, back in 1994. I'll just stick that back and run through. Alright, we'll just click down here and go on to the next one. Okay, now roll down to 2011. We were talking about going to visit an old abandoned railway tunnel there with a few friends of mine down the south coast that we had visited 20 years earlier, and I thought, okay, I need to get myself a decent flashlight. So I hopped on eBay, and the colour really got me on this one. That's why I bought it. So I thought, I'll get the 4D cell. This is going to be a really powerful flashlight, and when we go down to the abandoned tunnel, it's going to light up my way. How wrong I was. What a massive disappointment this was when I turned it on for the first time down in the Otford Tunnel. Had that old little amber globe in there. It was probably only about 30 or 40 lumens, and I just had no idea at that time about flashlights. So we went down there, walked through the tunnel. I think I still have that video. And yeah, it's just a real disappointment. I had no idea that the size of the flashlight actually made no difference whatsoever. So this is when I started getting a little bit serious buying flashlights. Okay, we skip to the next picture, which is Maglite 2D cell. Now, I actually think when I bought the 4D cell from eBay, they actually sent me the wrong flashlight. They sent me this flashlight. That's from what I can remember. So I emailed them and I said, listen, I ordered a blue one 4D cell. You sent me a 2D cell. And the gentleman said, would you like to keep it if I sold it to you for $20? So I asked my dad, I said, Dad, this guy is saying we can keep the torch for $20. Would you want it? And I said, yeah, sure. So we managed to keep this one, and they sent me out the one that I originally ordered, which is the blue one. So this is my father's, and again, this had the amber bulb within there, but I bought him a little LED Teralux bulb there, or not bulb, a little LED, and that one is the TLE 6EXB. That's 140 lumens of light when you turn that on. That's a 2D cell. So my dad's been using that flashlight since, when did I purchase that? 2012. So yeah, so they were the two flashlights that we owned, the 4D and the 2D. Now if we get to the next picture here, alright, this is where things start hotting up. So in 2012, my son and I are religiously watching the show Cops, the old reruns of the show Cops, and these were the flashlights that they used to use. If you see them running around, they've got those little flashlight loop on their belts that hang down on their ass, and they're running, and you can hear this thing, rattling away. This is exactly what it looks like. So that's called the Mag charger, the Mag rechargeable, Maglite rechargeable. So I bought that back in 2000. Actually, they're not staying there. Let me just see if I can put a little. Yeah, it's better. In 2012. So you see those rings there. I've got this charger in my car, and this is what I keep in the vehicle. That's an accessory on the back there. I don't know if you can pick that up. Well, that's a glass breaker. So you can buy a little tail cap there. So if you see an accident, or I think this is more so for the States, for those people that maybe crash their cars and go into a lake or whatnot and they can't open the doors, you can use this flashlight to break the glass. It's a nice little, very pointy tail piece there. Haven't used it, but just in case, I thought I'd buy it. And once again, I thought, okay, I'll buy the flashlight that the cops use. Surely that's got to be powerful. I buy it, and the same thing as these two. Little amber bulb, lights up nothing. So this is when I started to do a little bit of investigating. How can I modify these Maglites? Can I get more power out of them? And what I did, back in those days, you could purchase the Teralux adapters. Now this one is called the Teralux Tle 310M REX. And what this gives you, it gives you 1,000 lumens. And that's not bad for a Maglite. So if you half press, you have 100 lumens. Half press again gives you 500 lumens, and then you press again and it gives you 1,000 lumens. That was a game changer. Absolute game changer back then. Hang on now, I think my phone has stopped working. There you go. Okay, yeah, absolute game changer. So this is where I started now to getting onto more powerful flashlights. I knew that there was a market out there where you can actually modify and make your flashlights more powerful. So what I did then, I went out and I bought another one for my one that I keep at home. So this one also has one of those Teralux adapters, and again 100 on low, 500 on medium, and 1,000 on high, and these still work great today. Hang around towards the end of the video as well, because I'll show you how you can run this flashlight on AA batteries. So towards the end I'll give you some tips and tricks. So that's what that looks like right there. Alright, if we move on to the next one. Okay, so I'm on Facebook and you still see these ads today, and they claim to have the most powerful flashlight in the world, and this little thing come up, which is the XML T6 2000 lumens. Now these are branded under so many different names. So that's the accessories that you got. So I bought this and I thought to myself, I'm now going to be able to say to all my friends that I have the most powerful flashlight in the world. What a disappointment that was. It's a little zoomy flashlight with a fisheye lens. It's got a tail switch on it. Just didn't like it at all. When you really zoom in, you can actually see the Cree LED on the wall, like a little square. It just wasn't, it's not good for filming. So I was very disappointed in this flashlight. And the only thing, it's not the actual converter. You can actually run an 18650 battery in this one, or you can put AAA, 3 AAA batteries. That's similar to what that little adapter is down there. But yeah, that's the only thing I own. This I actually sold that. I purchased that for $40 in 2016. So roll forward from 2012 to 2016, in between those years, I didn't buy any flashlights. So this is where I thought, okay, how about I get on YouTube and have a look at who's reviewing flashlights, what are the best flashlights in the world. And I came across a magnificent channel back in 2016 called Going Gear. He was my inspiration. His name was Marshall, and he used to do fantastic interviews back in the day. He used to have his quick and dirty interviews, and he used to have his extended interviews where he'd head to his house and he'd have this beautiful little lake and he'd have his kids running around, and I used to love watching Marshall. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to buy a big flashlight, I'm just going to buy the most powerful little flashlight I can buy. And this was the first interview or the first review I saw of Marshall, and that was it. The Nitecore EC11, which at that time was the most powerful EDC, everyday carry, flashlight in the world. It punched out 900 lumens, and that's it right there. So I bought this one, and yeah, I was on my way from here. This is a fantastic little flashlight. It runs the Nitecore IMR 18350 little batteries. And back in those days, I used to use this for filming. One of our first videos. What I was doing in 2016, I was going for a lot of bushwalks, and a friend of mine noticed that every Saturday I was posting all these fantastic pictures of hidden waterfalls and whatnot. So he reached out to me, said, "Hey, listen, I've got Mondays off. I noticed you have Mondays off. Let's go." Started going on explores. So I said, "Yeah, great. That sounds good." And our very first explore was a place called Malabar Fortifications. They call it Satan's Playground, and that was on Halloween, I think 2016. And if you see that video on my YouTube channel, this was the flashlight that we used back then, the little EC11. This lit up our way, and this allowed me to film that day. These days I just use this as a head torch, so I clip that on my hat and I just use it whenever I'm going through a tunnel. I put that on my hat, so every time I look up I can see everything on the ceiling, and that's what I use, the little Nitecore EC11. But I have to, really thank Marshall for getting me into flashlights the way I have today. I own a lot, all because of that man's channel back in the day. All right, so I'm onto the Nitecores, nice little small pocket flashlights. So I thought, that's all I'm going to buy. I'm just going to buy small flashlights. So I purchased the Dqg Fairy, at that time known as the smallest flashlight in the world, smallest little keychain flashlight in the world. Now these are called little twist tops. So once you do, you twist this and it'll turn on to, I think, around about 8 to 10 lumens. Turn it off, twist it again, and then it'll come on. I think the maximum is 120 lumens. So this is a 2-mode little keychain light, and I actually hang that off my necklace. And funnily enough, these are the flashlight, or this little flashlight I use the most. I've used this in movie theaters. When I started to lockpick and go out on site to lockpick, I've used this little flashlight. Find my keys in the dark. Say if we're watching a movie with my partner and we turn all lights off downstairs, to navigate our way upstairs, I just turn this on. It's always around my neck, and I always use this little flashlight. I love these little D.Q.G keychain lights. The battery that these use are the 10180s. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. Doesn't look like it's focusing. Maybe if I put it up there, we'll have focus. No. Just can't get it to focus. About there. I have to find a spot here somewhere where I get it to focus. That just seems to be too small to pick up the lettering. But yeah, so that's the little 10180 battery that you get in these little keychain lights. Okay, from there, I'm loving the Dqg brand. So this one's called the Dqg Hobby in stainless steel. So I purchased this one. And that's all I'm going to collect now. I've got my little EC11, and I'm just going to collect these little DQGs because they're cheap. There's not many of them. And what makes this so special as well, when you turn this on, it works exactly like the Fairy. You twist it, it comes on 10 lumens, turn it off, twist it again, it comes on about 120 lumens. And then when you turn it off, this has a glowing fluorescent ring. So if you drop it, you can actually find it in the dark. Very snazzy little feature. The Dqg Hobby. And back in those days, and I think now especially, you have two types of batteries. You have got the white one, which were the original batteries that came in all these little Dqg lights, and then you have these blue ones that sell. Now I don't know if these have got any better these days, but when I used to buy them back then in 2016, they were absolutely crap. So if you're looking at buying any 10180 batteries, make sure you always look for these original white ones. Stay away from these blue ones. They don't hold the same charge as these white ones do. So these are very hard to find. I think I found these on AliExpress a long time ago. I bought about 20 because I knew to cut costs, they'll probably go down to this one that's not branded, and that's pretty much what they did. They're not around anymore. Okay, so after the Dqg Hobby, I bought, which was classified back then in 2016 as the smallest keychain flashlight in the world. That is the Dqg Spy. I love this little keychain light. This one, again, I use exactly like the Fairy, but this one's in titanium. And it doesn't rust. It's nice and strong, very, very light. And unlike the Fairy, which is made in brass, if you wear that around your neck and you've got a white shirt and it's raining outside, it will stain your t-shirt. Whereas with this one here, you get no stains whatsoever. So this is probably my favorite. Out of all the Dqg lights that I own, this is probably my favorite. Okay, we move on to the Olight X7 Marauder. This is where I started getting into high-end lights. This was in 2016, and once again, the reason why I bought this flashlight was because of the YouTube channel Going Gear and Marshall. Marshall did a fantastic review on this X7 Marauder, and if you want to read the runtimes there, just pause the screen. But I ended up selling this flashlight, and the only thing I have left are 4 18650 Olight batteries that ran in this flashlight here. Now, when you bought this flashlight, it didn't come with batteries. You had to buy the batteries separate. So I don't know what I bought that for back in the day. I sold it for $203. I probably paid $210, $215, and then the batteries cost me an extra $100 to get them shipped over from there as well. So yeah, Marshall's review on this one, his quick and dirty review of the X7 Marauder, the Olight X7 Marauder, and his extended review. And at that time, this was the most powerful flashlight in the world. So when I bought this, I could actually finally say that I owned, for a short period of time, the most powerful production light in the world. And they claim this to be a 9,000 lumen flashlight. Now, when flashlight companies release their flashlights and they say this flashlight's 9,000, this flashlight's 16, this flashlight's 32, it only holds that for a short while. What you need to look at, and this is how I determine how powerful the flashlight is, if you have a look there, it says 9,000 lumens for 2 to 5 minutes, and then it'll scale down to 1,800 lumens. That's what I classify this flashlight to be. So I classify this flashlight to be an 1,800 lumen flashlight, because if you notice there, it's got 5,500 lumens, holds it for 8 minutes, but then it'll drop down to 1,800. So that's where it holds its time, its run times at 1,800. So that's what I classify the Marauder to be. And yeah, so this was a game changer. So I have to thank Marshall for getting me onto the high-end lights. So from there, Christmas rolls around, and I thought, what can I buy my son? You know, I'm buying all these flashlights. Why not buy him a flashlight? So I purchase him a budget flooder slash thrower, the Convoy L6. Still today, this is 3,800 lumens, or the one that I bought him back in 2016 was 3,800 lumens. These have been re-released and they're a lot higher now. I think they're up to 4,200 lumens or 45, but this is a fantastic flashlight. It's got a double combination of flood and throw. So there it is there. Very simple. Comes in a brown box. You have to buy batteries, so that there's no batteries that come with this. If you look at this reflector, it's got a combination of that textured orange peel reflector, and you can see how deep it is. So that deepness gives you throw, and that texture gives you flood. I think that's an XHP70 LED in there. Absolutely brilliant light. He absolutely loves it. He says, he has told me this is one of his best Christmas presents I've ever bought him, just because he uses it the most. And this runs with two 26650 batteries. Now you can buy any type of batteries. I went with So Shines back in the day. These were a good quality batteries. So he runs two of these So Shines in this Convoy L6. Absolutely fantastic torch. So yeah, 2016, I bought that one for $77.26. Apparently the lumen output on that is 22 lumens at low, 168 at mid, 1307 at high, and 38 at turbo, 3800 at turbo. So yeah, the reason why it took so long to make this video is I needed to wait for my son to give me this flashlight, so I managed to pick it up the other day from him. So that's the Convoy L6. So once again, we move on to my good friend Marshall from Going Gear. So here's Marshall reviewing the Olight S1R baton. And at the time, this was the most powerful mini, I think they classified it, mini EDC flashlight in the world, as you can see there. 900 lumens on Turbo S. And that one is this here. And I use this one for a head lamp these days as well. Now this one ran the RCR123A battery, the Olight battery. Really tiny little battery, and at that time, as I said, the most powerful little mini EDC in the world. And good old Marshall had me buying flashlights every second week. Now this is where I stumble upon a channel called We All Juggle Knives, and I still watch this channel religiously today. This guy's absolutely brilliant. He reviews everything from knives to swords. He's been doing a lot of health videos of late. He's lost a lot of weight. So go check out his channel. It's one word, We All Juggle Knives. Now, I owned the most powerful flashlight in the world back in 2016, which was the Olight X7 Marauder, and Imalent releases the DT70, which is 16,000 lumens, breaks the 10,000 lumen barrier. So I thought, I've got to buy this flashlight. It's nice and cheap, and I then go out and I find Imalent, and for the next number of years, Imalent is the way I go. If you look at this, it's got a combination of throw and flood. If you see those deep reflectors in there, and it's got that textured orange peel reflector that gives it flood as well, running the XHP70 Cree LEDs in that one, and that runs the standard 18650 batteries. It runs 4 of those. This is still one of my favourite flashlights, although I don't use it anymore. It's just not powerful enough to film. D270, and this has long been vaulted, so they are not making this anymore. So if you own an original generation DT70, make sure you look after it, because I really do think these were the cutting edge flashlights of their time. You got to remember the flashlight boom started around about 2015, 2016. We just didn't have the production light lumens back in the day. You had people making their own flashlights and punching out high lumens, but there was no production lights that had this amount of lumens back in the day. So yeah, Imalent. Oh geez, we had some fun with that light. I'll show you some pictures later of when we first tested this light out down in the Otford Tunnel in 2017. It was a game changer. Okay, from here we go to the Dqg Hobby Plus. So once again, I'm collecting all these little Dqg neck chain, keychain lights, and this one has now got 3 modes. So the Fairy, the Hobby and the Spy are just 2 modes, 8 to 10, 120 lumens with those ones. This one's now got 3, so you turn it on, I think 10 lumens, turn it off, turn it on again, 40 lumens, turn it off, turn it on again, 120 lumens. Once again, it's got the glow ring at the end of it, so once you turn it off it will glow. And this one also runs the 10 180 battery. It's not going to really pick up these flashlights, these little keychain lights, very good on the camera, so that's why I thought I'd get the laptop open so you can actually see what it looks like. So yeah, so that's my collection of little DQGs. So from there, I'm back onto We All Juggle Knives. Oh, actually, no. From there, I'm back onto Maglites. So what happened is, this is the same Maglite that I showed you earlier, the rechargeable one. I remember going out one night exploring some fortifications here up the road from where I live. And I went up with a lady friend and she took her kids, and I ended up giving my rechargeable Maglite flashlight to her son, and he dropped it and he cracked the glass lens. Boy was I disappointed. So in that Teralux one that you see over there, it's got a plastic lens. The glass lens broke, so I wanted to go out and buy an original Maglite rechargeable flashlight, and I did. So this one's got the glass lens, and I haven't modified this one. This one is as original as when the cops used to use them on the show. It's got that original bulb, so I've left this totally original. I couldn't believe I picked one up for, what did I pick that up for? $40. So I picked this up for $40 back in 2017. So I was happy that I managed to have an original rechargeable Maglite again. And you see the little deep reflector in there. So that's why I purchased that one. Alright, from here I am watching the juggler, as I call him. We all juggle knives, and he's now reviewing another Imalent flashlight called the DN70, and if you see the Runtimes there, 3,800 lumens on turbo, which at that time again was the most powerful flashlight for, what battery was it using? I think 26650. A single battery flashlight was the most powerful back in the world back then, so that's why I ended up buying it, and it was an everyday carry flashlight. So yeah, this is, as you can tell, anyone that owns the DN70, the next generation DN70s came out with a black tail, and that had a little lanyard hole there. Every time you see these blue tails, you know that's a first generation DN70. You see that little, I think that's an XHP 70 LED in there, and it's got that textured deep reflector which gives it throw and flood. Beautiful little flashlight. Have never used it as often as I've used my other flashlights. But this has long been vaulted as well, so they do not make this flashlight anymore. So this again is a collector's item. So these are the ones that years down the track, especially the first gen ones, I may look to sell. But you got to remember, these were cutting edge flashlights of their day. You know, there was nothing before these were released. So it's nice to have and to own these flashlights at the beginning of the cycle. So from there, again, I'm just religiously watching the YouTube channel We All Juggle Knives, and he's reviewing another Imalent flashlight. They're being very innovative these days. They're now making flashlights, instead of having a button, they're touch sensitive. So you actually just touch this like you do on a mobile phone and it turns on. Now I remember a lot of people back in the day were hating on these flashlights because if they got wet they would struggle to turn on. But I actually just liked that they were stepping out of their comfort zone and trying new things. That's what makes Imalent such a great company. They're always trying to push the boundaries. So this was a little 1000 lumen flashlight. That's what it looks like here. That's the little battery that it runs. It is a little RCR123A battery. So the same battery that ran in the Olight SR baton runs in the Imalent DN12. This is a very rare flashlight. Again, stopped making these quite some time ago, so these have long been vaulted. I purchased this in 2017. A little pocket rocket, they used to call them back in the day. So what these are, these ramp up. So what you would do, you would double click to turn it on, and then you would hold it and it would ramp all the way down to 1 lumen, and then hold the top and it would ramp all the way up to 1000 lumens. So these were the ramping flashlights of their day from Imalent. Great little flashlight. So from there I'm watching, I'm not quite sure if this is We All Juggle Knives channel, but I thought, okay, I own the most powerful flashlight flutter in the world, which is the Imalent DT70. How about I own the most powerful thrower in the world? And even to this day, even though there's more powerful throwers made since 2017, there will always be a special place in everyone's heart, and they still talk about it today, for the Thrunite TN42. This is just a fantastic flashlight. Everything about this flashlight, build quality, the way it throws its beam, the color of its beam, some of the pictures that I've taken with this flashlight, it's just been mind-blowing. So you've got strobe at 680 lumens, so it starts off with a low lumen of 0.8, then you've got 38 lumens, 256, 780, and at turbo you've got 2000 lumens at a 1550, I think, throw. I think 1.5 meter throw. So unbelievable. This was just groundbreaking back in the day. And this one has a battery carrier that holds its 4 18650 batteries. A lot of these flashlights, especially the Acebeams, this is how they have their batteries, in these little carriers. And if you're looking at buying flashlights, it makes sense to purchase a couple of the same brand, because then what you can do, if you go out and you say you take the TN42 and you own another flashlight that has this battery carrier, you just take that battery carrier out of that other flashlight and just use it as a backup. There's the unbelievable, massively sized TN42. And just have a look at this amazing deep reflector. It's got the high 35 LED in there, I think it is. Look how smooth that is. Yeah, this was a game changer back in 2017. I don't use this flashlight a lot, because you'd only really use this, you know, if you're, say, on a cliff top and you want to hit another cliff top, or if you're on a property and you want to try to spot, you know, some animals in the distance. For tunnels, for where we go to explore, this flashlight doesn't really come into use. It's not very good for filming. So yeah, I don't use this, but I'm glad I own it. I really do. So the Thrunite TN42, a magnificent flashlight. So we click on from there. Okay, again, I'm on the We All Juggle Knives YouTube channel, The Juggler, and he's reviewing another Imalent light, which is the DN11, the big brother of the DN12. So that's this one here, exactly the same as the DN12, a touch flashlight. Touch it twice, it turns on. Hold this down here, it ramps down to 1 lumen. Hold that up the top there, goes up to 1000. Has special modes, your strobe, your SOS, your beacon. I don't know if you can pick that up there on the tail, the Imalent DN11. And again, long been vaulted. It's got inbuilt USB recharging, which is fantastic. You don't have to take the battery out all the time. I'm not quite sure what LED has in there, but 1000 lumens, it's very powerful. 18650 battery. I think it did actually come with an Imalent battery, so it would be the same battery as you get in the Imalent DT70. So that's the battery that would run in there, the 3000 milliamp Imalent 18650 battery that would have come in there. Again, I bought this one more so for novelty and knowing that they were going to be vaulted. You know, I follow Imalent on Facebook, and they said, you know, we will no longer be making the DN11 and DN12, and these are great to have now, just to look back of these touch flashlights, because no one's making them anymore. From there, again, I'm watching The Juggler, and he's reviewing, which looks identical to the Imalent DN11, and it is. This is the Astrolux Mh10. So what must have been happening is Imalent must have been making these lights for Astrolux, and they were marketing them under the Astrolux name. So here's the light that's identical to the DN11. The only difference is, that I can see anyway, is instead of it saying Imalent on the tailpiece, on the tail cap, it says Mh10. And funnily enough, if you look at this box, on the front of the box it actually says the Astrolux Mh10, but if you read the back of the box, it actually, I don't know if there was a mistake, but it actually says that they refer it to as the DN11. So yeah, very strange. Someone got their printing wrong on that box, and that's the way they let it go. Fantastic little light. Again, long been vaulted. They don't make them anymore, and you would run an 18650 battery in that one, and I just run the So Shine in that one, an 18650 So Shine. So whenever I buy spare 18650s, I just normally go with the same brand instead of getting many different brands. These last, they hold good charge. So okay, so from there, I think I find a channel called Charles Bridgetech, which I still watch today. Now, Charles is probably the most common guy that you'll find on YouTube. He uploads regularly. So if you're looking to see good flashlight reviews, go find the man, the legend, Charles Bridgetech. This is the Imalent DX80. So this has now topped the Imalent DT70 as the most powerful flashlight in the world. So we've gone from 16,000 lumens to 32,000 lumens. But again, if you have a look at how long it sustains that number for, 3 minutes, and then it drops down to 7,000 lumens for 100 minutes. So I would classify this as a 7,000 lumens flashlight. And I've probably had the most fun with this flashlight. The amount of pictures I've taken with this has been a lot. The amount of pictures that I've sent to Imalent with this flashlight is a lot. The amount of photo of the week I've won with Imalent is quite a lot as well. And they've used, I think, 3 of my pictures as marketing campaigns. I'll show you those pictures towards the end, but look at those like flowery XHP 70 LEDs. This has got a combination of flood and throw. So this throws about, I think, 800 meters, and like I said, the flood of 32,000 lumens is just incredible. This is a brilliant flashlight. This was the last of the big high lumen flashlights before they started going to fan cooling. So there's no fan cooling in this one. The only negative that I have on this, and I would advise people to stay away from, is this has got a battery pack, and I hate battery packs. So I've already gone through one. This is a warranty issue flashlight where after about a year I could not get a full charge out of this flashlight anymore. So I contacted Imalent and they said, okay, we'll send you out a new one. Because I thought it was the head of the flashlight. They sent me out a new one, and would you believe it, after a year again, I can't get a full recharge out of this flashlight. So very disappointed. I'm now no longer buying, or I'm no longer interested in purchasing another battery pack for this, knowing that one of the batteries, they run 8 18650 batteries in here. No doubt one of the batteries is gone in there. I can't get to it. It's sealed. So yeah, I stay away now from battery pack flashlights. And I just prefer my battery singly. So if a battery goes, I can easily replace it. But you know, the amount of fun that I've had with this flashlight is incredible. I'll still use it, but I just don't have the run times like you would do if it would have a full charge on it. So yeah, this was on the Charles Bridgetech channel back in the day. That got me into that one. From here, we're now still collecting the D.Q.G lights, and this one's called the D.Q.G Slim in stainless steel. Runs a AA battery. It's this one here. I just have this next to my laptop in the lounge room when I'm talking, because I have the lights off of a night time. It's got a tail switch on the back, 3 modes, and it just runs a simple AA battery, rechargeable battery. I use the Eneloop Pros. I find to be the best batteries in the world. So if you're looking at buying any AA batteries, have a look at the Eneloops. So that's to go with my D.Q.G collection. From there we go to another D.Q.G light. This one's called the Dqg 10-220, which is right here. Another keychain light. I'm also just collecting them. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got one more to show you. So I own 7 D.Q.G lights. Very high quality build. Keychain light, like I said, I just clip them onto my necklace, and that just hangs on my neck. You can hang it on your keychain. 3 modes in this one. Once again, like the Hobby Plus, I think 8, probably 40 lumens, and I think it maxes out at 120 lumens. It has the little glow ring, so once you turn it on and turn it off, you'll have a little glow ring, little green glow ring here. So if you drop it, you can actually see it glowing on the ground. So that's my Dqg 10-220. From there we go to Okay, so this one is they classify this as the D.Q.G Tiny AA in titanium alloy. Little twist top, so you twist that. I think it's got 3 modes. You got the belt clip or the hat clip there. No, don't really use this one. This one just sits there looking pretty. What is beneficial about this one, it has a magnetic tail cap. So if you see that, there you go. So if you've got the bonnet open on your car, or you know, if you're near your fridge or something like that, if you need a flashlight to be magnetized up somewhere and giving a little bit of light down, this makes a really great little useful feature. I think this is probably the only flashlight that I own that has a magnetic tail cap. So that's the D.Q.G Tiny titanium alloy. And from here, I'm onto the Charles Bridge Tech channel religiously. And I'm now trying to find lighter flashlights, because some of these explores that we do can go for a number of hours. And the Imalent DX80 is a very, very heavy flashlight. So I thought I need to get myself something a little bit smaller. Now, at the time that Imalent released the DX80, which is in 2017-18, which was then the most powerful flashlight in the world, I think about a week or two later, Acebeam released their little soda can flashlight, the X80 GT, which has 32,500 lumens. And this topped the DX by 500 lumens as the most powerful flashlight in the world. And still today, this is classified as the most powerful soda can flashlight in the world at 32,500 lumens. So if you look there, again, it only holds that for 1 minute. And after 1 minute, it drops down to 4,000 lumens. So I would classify this as a 4,000 lumen flashlight. But you have that 32,500 there if you need it. Towards the end of this video, as I said, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, and I'll tell you what I use the higher lumens, the 32,500 lumens for. A lot of people hate that it has, you know, a 1 minute runtime. Why bother having such a powerful light that only runs, you know, for only a minute? But you got to remember, that's where the flashlight technology is at the moment. Okay, the batteries, they just start to get a little bit more capacity batteries. They've gone from 18650s, I think, to 21700s. The LEDs are getting better. So yeah. So I'll tell you what I use these higher outputs for, so you know. What I would advise you to is never let, these will scale down. Once the battery, once the light gets too hot, these are the cooling fins here. Once it gets too hot, if you leave it on 32,500 lumens, it will scale down to 4,000. Never let your flashlight scale down. It's just not worth it. You then you kill your batteries, and you don't have as longer battery life as you would if you're careful with those higher lumens. So don't use those lumens unless you really have to. Use these other ones. If you have a look there, you've got your low, your medium 2, your medium 3. Look at that low. That low runs for 34 hours at 200 lumens. 200 lumens is a lot of lumens. Then you've got 1,000 lumens at 7 hours. You've got 2,000 lumens at 3.5 hours. You've got 4,000 lumens at 1.7 hours. So run those lumens. I've found that the most optimum lumens when you are filming is around about 4,000 or 5,000 lumens. That's perfect for filming these dark places that we go to. The only time I use the 32,500 lumens is if I want to see something in the distance just quickly, or if I want to take a picture. If I want to take a picture and light everything up in front of me, I will ask my friend that's standing behind me, "Are you ready?" He'll say, "Yep." So I'll double click again into Turbo Max, take a few pictures, and then I turn it off. I don't waste any more than I have to. I don't allow the flashlight to get hot. So I always have 32,500 at hand, and I keep my batteries going strong. That's the way you should work these high-end flashlights. Never allow your flashlights to scale down. It's pointless. You're just as I said, draining your batteries when you don't have to. Okay, so from here, I thought to myself, if I own the X80 GT, I should buy its older brother. So prior to the X80 GT being released, Acebeam had released the X80. And what makes this flashlight fantastic is all these colors. It has a UV. I've done videos before where you can pick up holographic images on counterfeit notes. You know, UV is used by the police, you know, for semen samples and whatnot on crime investigations. You've got the blue there, you've got the green, and you've got the red, and you've got the strobe, you've got ultra low. If I was to, out of all these flashlights that I own, if I was to say to someone, if someone was to ask me actually, which one flashlight would you recommend for us to buy? If you could only tell us one flashlight, which one would it be? And I would say that everyone needs to own the X80, Acebeam X80 once in their lifetime. So that's what the colors look like in the middle there. So you've got your red, you've got your blue and your green. So the red you can see go side to side. I think the top are the green and the bottom are the blue, and the one right in the middle is the UV. Beautiful light. X80 Acebeam, and that's got that battery carrier that I showed you inside. Tripod mount. And the way these work, you hit the button once, you hold the button, and it scales up. So you hold it down, it'll go to 150 lumens, 850, 2.7, and then high, which is 4,000, and double click, it goes to turbo, 11,300 lumens, double click again, it goes to 25,000 lumens. Fantastic light. That's one of my favorite lights. So if I was to guide anyone to buy one light out of all the lights that you see here, it would be the Acebeam X80. Everyone should own this light once in their lifetime. You'll have a lot of fun with it. Okay, that's that one. From there, we'll go to the Acebeam E10. So this is a little pocket thrower. It is 760 lumens with a throw of 560 meters. So this is a brilliant little flashlight. So when I was going to my partner's place over there on the other side of Sydney, she was living right next to a river, the mighty Nepean River. So when we would go for walks of an afternoon and an evening, I could shoot right across the Nepean onto the other side, catching wildlife and ducks and birds sleeping in the trees with this little light. So that's why I bought this light. And it's nice and compact, fits in the hand, very light. The battery that this comes with is called, it's a 2000 milliamp. What size battery is that? Acebeam doesn't really tell you what size it is. Strange, but the way you recharge this flashlight is with that little slot at the top of the battery there. Little 2000 milliamp battery. I'm not quite sure what that size is. Maybe that's the size there. Let me see if I can pick that up with my eyes. ARC 26350, possibly. Not quite sure. So yeah, that's the Acebeam E10, classified as a little thrower. That I don't often use. I only really use it when I go to my partner's place, but with lockdown in at the moment, can't really do much. We're all stuck indoors. Okay, and now we go from here, and I think I've seen this once again, this flashlight on the We All Juggle Knives YouTube channel, the Juggler. And the reason why I bought this one was the limited edition OD green, the army green as they classify it. This is the Thrunite Catapult V6, which is, you could call it where is it, right there? The younger version, the smaller version of the TN42 Thrunite. That one throws 1550 meters. This one I think throws 750 meters at 1700 lumens. This is a great little flashlight. And look at that color. Honestly, that has to be one of the most beautiful colors that I've ever seen. And what I did with this one, this was selling here in Australia for I think $134. So I reached out to a few friends and I said, listen, there's this beautiful little thrower, fantastic little handheld flashlight that's in limited edition army green, and I think I can get 5 for $100. I've made a deal with this gentleman where if I buy 5 of him, I think there was only 1,000 made worldwide. So I reached out to this company on eBay and I said, listen, if I buy 5 off you, what's the best you can do? And he said, I'll sell 5 to you for $100. And so I reached out to 5 of my friends. I said, listen, interested in buying a flashlight for $100? It's limited edition, fantastic green. And they said, yep. So I bought 5 of them and got $100 each from my friends. And there's the battery that it runs. It's a 500 milliamp 26650 battery. So the same batteries that run in the Convoy L6 and the Imalent DN70 runs in the Thrunite V6 Catapult. That's the only reason why I bought it. I don't think I've ever used it. I bought it just for that limited edition reason. You know, I display it and that's it. I don't do anything more with it. I just love that pineapple textured handle there. And you see that deep reflector. I don't know if it'll pick that up. So similar to the Thrunite TN42. I think it's got that XHP 35 high LED in there. It's a beautiful little flashlight. My friends use theirs quite regularly, but there's just no reason for me to use this because I'm always filming. When we do our explores, I'm the one that films, so I need to have these other flashlights. So from there, I purchase the JetBeam Mini 1. Reason being, I love showing people the Australian banknotes where if you shine UV light on them, all these images start popping up. Now with the Acebeam X80, it's quite a big light, well not big, it's a soda can light, but you know I can't pull that every time out. I need to show someone what you can see on a banknote, an Australian banknote. So I thought I'd buy a little keychain light that has UV, and I then go and purchase the little JetBeam Mini 1. There it is there. Again, on high, this has got 500 lumens and it runs for 10 minutes. And then it's got 200 lumens, it runs for 20 minutes. 100 lumens at 35. Low is that, then you've got 35 lumens at 1.5 hours, and on low you've got 1 lumen. And it has a whole bunch of colors. It has blue, it has red, it has a police car flashing on it, but the most important thing is the UV. So I think I've locked this out at the moment. No, that's on. I think you triple click it and the UV will come on. There it is, that's UV. So I don't think it'll pick up anything. There you go, it's showing a little bit. So if there was anything, any blood splatter or anything on that mat, you would pick it up. But yeah, with the Note, you can pick up images that you can't see with the naked eye with this flashlight. So that's why I bought it. Got the carabiner on there, and I just hang that on my shorts. So when I go to my partner's place, I'll take the E10 from when we go on the walks, but as we're sitting on the lounge, or if I need to light up something in the backyard, I've always got the JetBeam Mini 1 at hand. From there, we're nearly there, a couple flashlights to go. From there, I bought the Lumintop GT Nano. Why I bought this light, I've got no idea. It's probably the most disappointing light I've owned. It has the same battery as the little D.Q.G lights that I showed you, little keychain lights, which is the 10180, but it just doesn't sustain power for a very long time. It is what they classified the smallest, longest throwing flashlight in the world. It's like a mini version of the Thrunite TN42. It's got so many different features. You get, it confuses you, all the different modes that it has on this flashlight. It was cheap. It's the reason why I bought it. It's a novelty, and yeah, I don't really use it. It looks very cute. It's got a ramping. There's a cycle on there where you can ramp up and down. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend anyone buy this. If you want to display it in a cabinet or something, or conversation piece when someone comes around, but I would never take this out and use it anywhere, because the battery, you'd need to take 10 of these batteries with you and just replace them constantly. So that's that one there, the GT Nano from Lumintop, thumb size pocket thrower, 450 lumens, 300 meters. I'm not quite sure what it throws. Might be 300 meters, I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you're interested, if you like that light, there are plenty, I think. And I don't think they're all that popular. And my last purchase, which I got, as I said to you earlier in this video, about 2 or 3 months ago, was the Acebeam X45. The reason why I purchased this light is back in the day, which I didn't realize, because I went back and had a look at some comments, and I remember when I think it was Charles Bridgetech may have reviewed this light also. I've commented in the comments section, which light should I buy? Should I have bought the DT70 or the Acebeam X45? Now, I wouldn't change a thing. This was a game changer back in the day. This was the most powerful flashlight back in the day. But it just doesn't have the run times that the X45 does. So if you look at that, at low it has 800 lumens and a run for 10 hours. At mid it has 2000 lumens, but the most important thing is, on high it runs for 5000 lumens at 1 hour and 24 minutes. So that's what really made me buy this light. Because of my filming, I need that flashlight to be somewhere in between 4,000 to 5,000 lumens, and I need a bit of throw. Now this has got a combination of throw and flood. Okay, so that's what that looks like there. It is a fantastic flashlight. I used this flashlight 2 weeks ago when we explored the old Glenbrook Railway Tunnel over there at Glenbrook in the Lower Blue Mountains. And you see the combination. It has those 4, I think they're XHP 70 LEDs, smallish type deep reflectors, and you've got your smooth reflectors that give it throw. So you've got pure flood and you've got throw all in one, and you've got your long run times. And if you get into turbo, you've got your 9000 lumens, and it sustains that for 10 minutes. So that's a pretty good run time for 9000 lumens. Again, I only use the turbos and the Turbo Max if I want to take pictures. That's all I use them for. And this also runs, which was another reason why I bought it, the same battery carrier, same batteries as it does, sorry, not the Thrunite, as it does in the Acebeams. So the same batteries that run in the Acebeam X80 and the Acebeam X80 GT run in the Acebeam X45. Well, that's it. That's the complete full collection review. What I'll do now is I'll pause this video. I will group these flashlights in the brands, and I'll just give you a few tips and tricks to end what will turn out to be a 1 hour, let's say 30-minute video. Okay, so I've grouped all these flashlights. Over here we have the Maglites. So I own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Maglites. Right at the back there, or that's my son's, I only own, or he owns, one Convoy. There's my collection of D.Q.Gs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 D.Q.Gs. I own one Olight and the 4 18650s left over from the X7 Marauder. Over here we have my collection of Imalent, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Imalent flashlights that I own. The back there we've got the TN42 and the Catapult V6, 2 Thrunites that I own. I own 4 Acebeams. I've got the X80, the X80 GT, the E10 and the X45. And I own an Astrolux Mh10, a Nitecore EC11, JetBeam Mini 1 and the Lumintop GT Nano. So that's all my lights. Now I just want to show you this chart here, if you want to pause it and have a read. All these lights that you see here is cool white. I don't bother buying anything that's not cool white. I like my lights to be an artificial light. Okay, and then the most brightest and the most powerful. A lot of people don't like them because of the images are not the same. You have a more natural image on a natural white or a neutral white color. But anytime I buy any flashlight, I always buy it in 5500K minimum to 6500K. So everything that you see here is in that. Again, these LEDs are in cool white. I'll show you some of these pictures. Okay, so there's me. So anytime that you see a picture on the internet with someone like holding a gun, like in a rifle position, that'll be me. When I grew up here, I was a child of the 70s, a teen of the 80s. We had access to firearms, knives. You know, Kmart here on the northern beaches used to have its own gun section. And we used to go down there as kids and handle guns. So I owned a lot of air rifles, shot virtually every day. So I used to love my childhood. It was so good. And we used to have air rifles hidden down in the bush locally here, and used to go do target practice every day. So I thought when I take pictures, I want to have a pose where it's original to me, where I won't see anyone else doing that pose. So here's a picture that my friend took of me holding the Imalent DX80. I sent that picture into Imalent, and they're now using it as their marketing campaign for the Imalent DX80. Now, this flashlight is soon to be vaulted. They won't be making this flashlight anymore. So if you're interested in buying that flashlight, I'd pick one up because there won't be any more after that. I've had most fun with that flashlight, but remember, battery packs. You know, I've had 2 go on me. In saying that, my friend still owns his original from 2017, and his battery pack is still going strong from a Generation 1 Imalent DX80. So that's one of my pictures. That was taken at the Warringah power station up there at Lake Macquarie. Okay, there's another one of my pictures. That's a great picture. I love that with the shadow in the back. That was taken down under Warringah Mall here locally, under the stormwater drains there. Again, I'm in my pose with my tack belt on, with my sheath hanging down from the back there. I think it was I took in the Acebeam X80, I think. I wanted to see what the colours look like down below there. So we walked that stormwater drain down there. And as you can see, that's a purely pitch black tunnel. If I was to turn that light off, you could not see, you couldn't see your feet. It's that dark. Again, I'll send that picture in, and you can see Imalent, trademark and advertising, selling the DX80. So that's me again. That was our original picture from back in 2017. So this is the DT70. So this was the very first time when I bought the most powerful flashlight of the world, in the world back then. We went down to the Otford train tunnel, down there on the south coast. That was, I think, taken with the XML T6 I had down there that day as well, and that claimed to be a 2000 lumen flashlight. So that's a picture taken with that flashlight, and that there on the right is taken with the Imalent at 16,000 lumens. I sent that picture in to Imalent, and then they made a marketing campaign to sell the Imalent DT70. That became a very popular picture back in the day. Absolutely brilliant. I'll cherish that one. They sent me out like a care package with a head torch, I think it was. I forget what brand it was. I ended up selling that. So yeah, I'll never forget that day. I remember turning it on for the first time and my friends just saying, holy shit. You know, to think I went down there, that was 2017, 6 years earlier with my Maglite 4D cell flashlight, couldn't see anything, and then you turn that on and you see that. Just mind-blowing. It was absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, that's where that picture was taken. So that was at the Dqg power station. That I sent that into Imalent, and then they have a little bit of a write-up of my my picture, and down the bottom there you can see 15 people liked it on the day. That's one Imalent Facebook site. There's another Imalent Facebook site, which is the Flashlights group. Down the bottom there you see it says 3 others liked it. That was again taken at the Dqg power station, the abandoned Dqg power station. And this one was taken down at the Otford train tunnel not all that long ago. I'll see if I can scroll that in. I don't think I can. There you go. So what I've done, yeah, so that's a great picture taken, I think, by my friend Andrew, my good friend Andrew, the same guy in 2016 that said to me we should go start exploring some abandoned places. And as I said, the first one we hit was the old abandoned Malabar fortifications. That got a real good response. That was, how many likes was that one? 30 likes, I think, on that one. And this one was taken at George's Heights fortifications here in Mossman. I got my friend to sit down on his knees with his hands behind his head, and I'm there holding the DX80 like I would with a rifle. Like I've captured him, and down the bottom I've put a Rambo GIF down there saying it's over Johnny. That's a very cool picture there. That's another one on the Imalent flashlight group. And this was my partner down in the Otford tunnel when I first met her back in 2017, holding, I think, the DX80. Yes, the DX80. So we've had a lot of fun with that flashlight, with that 32,000 lumen flashlight. Okay, now I'll give you a few tips and tricks. With these flashlights here, most of them have lockout modes. If you can, instead of using the lockout mode, loosen the tail cap. I find it a lot better if the flashlights are sitting, to loosen the tail cap instead of putting it in lockout mode. What that does, it cuts connection from the battery and it saves battery drain. So all these lights here, I just loosen the tail caps. I don't put them in lockout mode if it has them. For instance, the GT Mini one, the JetBeam Mini one, that's a sealed battery. You can't take that out. You can't loosen a tail cap or anything. That does have a lockout mode. So of course I use the lockout mode on the JetBeam Mini one. But anytime you can loosen a tail cap, I would suggest that's the way that you lock out your flashlight. That's the easiest way. Okay, hand straps. When you buy your flashlights, you'll always come with a hand strap or a wrist strap that actually says Thrunite or Imalent or Acebeam. Don't use them. Try to keep something in your flashlight box that's brand new, because if you do go to sell it in years to come, you want to be able to say, the wrist strap's never been used, the sticker that it came with is brand new. You need to have some sort of selling point. Just go out on eBay and buy yourself 10 hand straps for $2. If you do use that original one, eventually the branding of Imalent or Acebeam or Thrunite will wear away and it's gone forever. So it's pointless even using it. Better off just buying yourself some cheap wrist straps and maybe use the other ones as display pieces. I just like to keep them in the box, and if I do go to sell them like I did with the Marauder, I remember they came with a sticker, a car sticker. I never used it, and it was a selling point when I went to sell it. So try, keep something that you don't really need to use brand new, because it's a good selling point. Just go to eBay and go buy yourself 20 for $2. They're really cheap on there. One thing that I see a lot of people doing is boxes. Always keep your boxes. I don't care how plain they are, even if it's a brown box. This Convoy L6 that I bought for my son, it just came in a shitty brown box. No matter what your collectibles are, or whatever you buy in life, whether it be Rambo knives, die-cast cars or flashlights, always keep your boxes. Sometimes the boxes are worth as much as the light itself. Now, if I go to sell this first generation DN70, someone's of course going to want that box in the future. Now I've got that box in pristine condition. To have a first generation DN70 and box that's been vaulted, that they don't make anymore, mate, that's a great selling point to have that box. So anytime, no matter what you collect in life, always keep the boxes. Stick them under your bed, throw them on top of a cupboard. Who cares if they get dusty, but you've always got them at hand to store the light, or more importantly, to sell the light. Okay, as I told you before in the video, never allow these flashlights to step down. It's pointless. You know, don't run the Acebeam X80 GT at 32,500 lumens for a minute and let it step down. It's going to get hot. You're going to drain your batteries very quickly, and it's pointless. If people say, well, why make a flashlight at that lumen power if it only runs for 1 minute? That's where the technology is at. Don't hate on the manufacturers for doing that, when that's all that they can do. That's their capabilities at this present moment in time. Work out how you can use it the best way. For me, pictures. If you're going to use those higher lumens, you either use it for three things. When your friends come around, you turn it on quickly and show them, look, this has got 32,500 lumens, and they go, holy crap, how powerful, how bright is that? Turn it off. If you want to light up something in the distance, if there's something you just can't quite pick up with your eye at 4,000 lumens, put those Turbo Max power, the turbo powers on, light it up, see what it is, then just come down to your 4,000 lumen run times on there. And of course, pictures. If there's something in the distance that you want to light up a big area, have your friend behind you ready with camera in hand. Get him to say, okay, go, turn it on, take a few snaps, turn it off. Always have that high lumen, those Turbo and Turbo Max lumens ready, so you don't run them out. It's pointless running out. So that's how I use my higher lumen outputs. Now, I told you with this 4D, the Maglite 4D cell, how you can run AA batteries on there. So what I've worked out, you can buy these adapters online. Instead of running a 4D cell, and the reason why I changed these, now I had these energizers, these 4D cells, the D cells, in all of my Maglites. And they were sitting on top of my cupboard for a couple of years, and they started leaking. I didn't use the flashlight often enough, and they started leaking. I thought, hell, what am I supposed to do? Leave them without any flashlights, any batteries, or is there another way? So I looked into a few things on Google, and you can buy these. So what it is, this is an adapter, a D cell adapter for a AA battery. Okay, so what you do, you just put that in there like that, click it down, and you run 4 of those. And if you run 4 of those, it's exactly the same as running 4 D cells in that Maglite. Now, what the tricky part is, as you know, with these Maglites, they have a tail spring. And the tail spring, of course, is not going to touch that. What you can do, what I've found, get yourself a used D cell battery, one that doesn't work anymore. And if you are careful with a Stanley knife at the top there and a small little screwdriver, you can pry that top, that little nipple there, you can pry it completely off like that. All right, I've taken several of those off. They're held on with 2 little small bits of glue or something. Take that off, and what you do, when you put your 4 batteries in, you can either run it that way, stick it on that way, or stick it on with the nipple down. Hard to do this with one hand, like that. And then, as you can see from there, the tail spring would be able to get absolute solid connection on there, and you will not have leaking batteries. And any time you run the batteries out, you got your AA's, your inner loops that are rechargeables, charge your 4 AA inner loops, and you're ready to go again. So that would be my advice there. That's the battery pack. That's the battery pack there for the rechargeable Maglites. I would just keep that. I wouldn't run anything other than that. So, you know, I've got the battery charger in my car, so I would never run AA batteries in my Maglite rechargers. So, and to finish off this video, it has gone, as I said, for quite some time. I want to pay homage to a gentleman, as I said. His YouTube channel was Going Gear, and his name was Marshall. Now, when I started watching Marshall was in 2016, and he got me into these high-end flashlights. I bought the Nitecore EC11. I then went on to buy the Olight S1R Baton, and I bought the Olight X7 Marauder, all because of Marshall. And a couple of years later, I kind of stopped watching his YouTube channel a little bit, and there was reports filtering through that Marshall had taken his life. Well, that's what I read. I'm not sure. I can't confirm that. But yeah, it was a very sad time. I couldn't believe it. Here's this guy that I was watching, you know, religiously for a year or two. You know, he had a wife. He had a very successful business. Had a couple of beautiful little kids that he would feature in his video as well. And he's a guy that inspired me to start collecting flashlights. And to think that, you know, life got too tough for him, that he saw no other way. So I was really sad back in the day. So if, you know, Marshall's kids or his wife happen to stumble upon this video, I just want you to know he was a big inspiration on my life. You know, I really feel sorry. It was a pity that someone couldn't help Marshall back in the day. But yeah, so we'll end it at that. That's my flashlight review. The reason why I love flashlights so much, everything is so regulated, so banned here in Australia. We can't have guns anymore. We can't use knives here in New South Wales. Throwing knives, luckily for me, are legal in New South Wales. They are banned virtually everywhere else in Australia. I wouldn't be surprised if they ban them in New South Wales. If some idiot decides to go take a throwing knife and knock someone off in public, I have no doubt the knee-jerk reaction with the government here in Australia would be to ban throwing knives as well. So this is a passion of mine that I can use. I can take these out. I go on so many explores. This channel is riddled with abandoned train tunnels, caves, mines, power stations. It's, you know, if you're interested in looking at the adventures that we get up to, just scroll down, just go into playlists, especially 2017. 2017 was a breakout year for us. You know, it looked like we were going on an explore every second week. So yeah, if you're looking to get into a hobby, flashlights is a great way to go. Can be expensive. I think this is valued. Just let me see. I think I've got a value here. Yeah, all these flashlights that you see here. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, about 30 flashlights. They are valued. I don't know if you can pick that up at the top there. It might be a little bit too bright. They are valued at $2,380.46. So that's what this flashlight collection is worth. I will bid you farewell, and until next time, adios.